1923 Season 2, Episode 4 was filled with yet more bombshell reveals about the Dutton family's story, and several different pieces look primed to fall into place. The entire cast of 1923 Season 2 has been feeling the effects of a very harsh winter all season long. For example, Zane Davis, Brian Garrity, learned he needed brain surgery, Elizabeth, Michelle Randolph, was bitten by a rabid wolf, and Alexandra, Julia Schläfer, was mugged by a pickpocket and nearly missed her train. 1923 Season 2 has been incredibly dark and dreary so far, so the bright spots Episode 4 brought was very appreciated. While 1923 Season 2, Episode 4 was brighter than its predecessors, it also had its fair share of darkness. Zane's surgery was stomach-turning, Alexandra's mugging was visceral, and Donald Whitfield, Timothy Dalton, continued his most controversial storyline. However, Elizabeth also announced her pregnancy, Zane's surgery was successful, and Tiana Rainwater, Amina Neves, and her group had a few fun moments with the Cowboys. A lot happened in 1923 Season 2, Episode 4, and it's all worth going over once again. In 1923 Season 2, Episode 3, Zane Davis discovered that he needed brain surgery to release blood from inside his skull, and he had to do it without anesthesia. Fortunately, Zane's brain surgery was a massive success, and though it was a gruesome and painful process, he should make a full recovery. In fact, Zane looks like he's going to have a remarkably fast recovery. Just seconds after putting a bandage on the open wound in his skull, Zane was walking and talking like normal. Zane's life-threatening injury seems to be gone as quickly as it happened. If Zane continues to recover at such a surprising pace, he could very well rejoin the Duttons' fight against Banner Creation and Donald Whitfield. Some of the first words out of Zane's mouth were asking if Jacob was going to take the fight to them. So it seems that Zane will be back in the proverbial and literal saddle in no time. Zane may even be able to start fighting before Spencer even gets back to Montana. Jacob said it best. One calamity has been dealt with. Just after Zane's miraculous recovery, the Duttons got another bit of good news. Elizabeth discovered she was pregnant with Jack's child after getting her rabies vaccination. That news immediately got Elizabeth out of her poor spirits, and it may even be enough to convince her to stick around in spite of all the troubles she's had with the Yellowstone Ranch and Winter. There was even a funny moment when Jacob thought that the talk he had with Elizabeth had turned her and Jack back into puppies, only for Kara to bring him back to Earth. Elizabeth's pregnancy could also solve a big Yellowstone mystery that has been hanging over 1923 for quite some time. John Dutton II, the father of Kevin Costner's John III in Yellowstone, has yet to be born, and we still don't know if he descends from Jack or Spencer. Elizabeth's baby, however, would be the right generation and age to be John II. Spencer and Alexandra's, Julia Schläfer, baby, on the other hand, would be one generation too old for the Dutton family curse to make sense. The only challenge they have left to overcome is avoiding another miscarriage, like the one they had in 1923 Season 1. Banner Craigton's story also got some attention in 1923 Season 2, Episode 4, though it raised more questions than it answered. Craigton and Whitfield continued plotting the downfall of the Duttons and the seizing of the Yellowstone, and Creighton seemed mostly on board. Banner's wife, Ellie, Sarah Randall Hunt, even encouraged him to work with Whitfield and take a comfortable life for their family by force. Ellie's encouragement and the promise of untold riches may be enough for Creighton to stick with Whitfield. There has, however, also been trouble brewing between Creighton and Whitfield. Creighton said that he was scared of Whitfield's ability to see through people and find business opportunities earlier in 1923 Season 2. Additionally, Lindy, Madison Elise Rogers, accidentally killed Christy, Kaylin Rice, and Whitfield forced Creighton to hide her body at Yellowstone's train station dumping grounds. Christy's depraved death, having to dump her body like trash, and Whitfield's complete power over Lindy may have been a step too far for Creighton, and he may end up joining the Duttons after all. Spencer's seemingly endless journey to Montana had two more big challenges in store in 1923 Season 2, Episode 4. The first came after the police who shot Luca, Andy Dispenza, forced Spencer to deliver the bootlegged whiskey. The police were essentially just using Spencer to find out who the buyers of the whiskey were, and they always intended to double-cross him. That's why one officer handcuffed Spencer to the wheel of the truck, and it's also why Spencer had to flee on a passing train. Spencer's train ride was his second challenge. There were a few homeless people riding the train Spencer jumped onto, and they demanded that he pay a train tax for taking a ride. The train tax was just the homeless people's way of shaking Spencer down. They saw that he had some nice belongings and they wanted to steal them to make some money. Unfortunately for them, Spencer has never been willing to play ball, and he ended up shooting two of them and knocking the girl unconscious. Spencer's failure to pay the train tax could also put him on a collision course with Tiana Rainwater, Amina Neves, and her group in 1923 Season 2. Tiana runs his horse, and Pete Plentyclouds all rode with the cowboys on their ranch, and when their work was done for the day, settled into a fairground. At the fairground, Tiana found some of the wanted posters Mamie Fawcett had made of her, which essentially means they'll be on the run again. Tiana can't stick around with the cowboys. They may be friendly, but a $200 bounty could convince them to turn on her. Meanwhile, Spencer is also on the run from the law. He's wanted for bootlegging by the same cops who tried to double-cross him, and he'll likely be wanted for the murder of the two homeless people on the train. Since Spencer and Tiana are both on the lam and are both in the same area, it seems like 1923 Season 2 is setting up a meeting between them. They may even join forces when Fawcett, Father Renault, and Marshall Kent find them. Regardless, Tiana may soon meet her first Dutton in 1923 Season 2. What do you think? Tell us in the comments and keep watching Film Buff Baby.